Hi everyone! Welcome to another episode of Nathan's 3D Factory. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to build a roof on top of a house, okay? So this is something I was thinking about as I was doing my normal job, which is architectural drafting, right? So I have basically a form of a two-story house right here. So first of all, what I want to do is this two-story house has two levels that I'm going to do. So first, we have this level right here. And I just want to do a very simple shed roof. So the shed roof is going to be where it's just going to go in one direction. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go into face select mode by pressing 3 on the keyboard. So I'm going to do Shift S, cursor to selected. Okay. And now I'm going to add a mesh cube. Okay. Now, what I want to do is that I want to take this so that I tab into edit mode. I get rid of all these vertices here. Okay. And then I just want to do control, right click. Oh yeah, and I need to be in vertex mode, so press 1. Okay, there it is. Now, I want this to snap to vertices right now. So I'll turn the magnet icon on. Now I'm going to go to there. Now I'm going to extrude this and go to the next one. Same thing there. And then I'm going to take all those. All right. Now, the next thing I want to do is that I want to show you how to do a calculation on this so that we get a roof that's going to be like the American standards, right? That's the way I do things. So I'm going to take this vertex and I'm going to go extrude along the y-axis, and then I want to do 12 units. Okay. Now, you can't see it right now, but here is where we are, right? All right. So, on those 12 units, what I want to do is I'm going to take it up 4 units on this. We'll just go with that. Z. Okay, so I get G for moving it. Z 4. Okay, there we go. Now, what I want to do is I want to slide this vertex down so that it matches up with this line right here. Okay. So I'm going to take this to edge for the snap. Shift V. Okay. Now we have that taken care of. Now I want to extrude this along the x-axis. Okay, and we'll match it up with there. And then we'll take all these 4 right here. And now we've just made a face. And then we'll do the same thing here. So I just want this to be a solid form here, okay? Okay, and then do the same right there. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is that I want to take this face right here. So we'll press 3. And I want to extrude this out. Now, I'm not doing this with totally exact measurements or anything. What we're going to do is we're going to extrude this 0.5. So it'll basically be a 6-inch extrusion, right? If we were to do this in real world measurements. 0.5. And since this is going in the direction I don't want it to, I'll put it negative. Okay, there we go. All right. So I want to do the same thing on this, where I'm going to extrude it with a 1-foot overhang, essentially. So we'll do 1. Okay, we'll do negative. Okay. Okay. Extrude 1, negative. Okay. So now we have an overhang, right? So one thing I will say though is that with our cuts that we typically do on our roof designs, we typically don't do the square cuts. We typically do the plumb cuts. So the square cuts basically do a 90-degree angle from the roof surface right here, right? The roof slope. But the plumb cuts, what they do is it goes straight up and down regardless, okay? So what I want to do is that I want to take this edge right here. I'll press 2 for edge select, okay? And I'm going to just do Shift D, -1, Y. Okay, so now I have this surface now that I can use as a reference. GZ is what I want to do. All right. And I don't want this to snap to anything. I just want to get it, so I just pressed Control to turn off the snap temporarily. So now I'm going to extrude along the Z axis. Okay. All right. I want to have plenty of space for this to be kind of a snap point, right? Okay. So now, next thing I want to do is I want to take this face right here, and I'll use this as a reference for how I'm going to do my gimbal here, okay? So we're going to do this. All right, now I'm not going to bother renaming it. But now we have our gimbal to where we can set it up here, and we can have this snap for these edges, right? Okay, so now if I go to 2, edge select, now we have that. Oh yeah, I probably ought to take this so the entire edge loop is selected there, right? Okay, so now I have this snapping to the edge. Really cool, right? Now let's do the same thing here. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing there. Pretty cool, isn't it? So now that we have that, we can press L, delete those vertices. Okay, so there we go on that. And then what I want to do next is I want to take this so that I take this edge, not that edge, this edge loop, so Alt, and then I want to put this back in global. All right, so now EY, that didn't do it. Let's see, we'll try that again. GY, let's see if that, okay, so EY, okay, and that snaps to that edge. And then I'm going to delete these faces off the bottom of this geometry, right? And to do that, I can just do X to delete, and then edges. Okay, and then I'm going to take this edge and this edge and do that. Those two I'm going to connect. And then I'm going to connect these guys. Perfect. So now I want to check this side as well. I want to do the same thing. Okay. So now I have a good shed roof there. Okay. So now we have that. So it's so we have a good design on that, right? Okay. So now what I think I want to do as well is that I want to have this so that this roof, we keep matching the slope of this, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I'm just going to get out of this edit mode here. And then I want to take this and duplicate it. Shift D. Okay. GZ. Okay. All right, let's see. G, Y. Okay. So that type of snapping isn't exactly what I like. So what we're going to do is, okay, G, Y, -1. Okay, G, Z. Okay. So, let's see. So this is one of those things where I kind of have a little difficulty with doing the snaps, you know? So, okay, what I can do is I can do this, right? All right, so I can take this, go to face select. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, let's see. Just select that for a moment. Yeah. Yeah. Forgot these faces too. All right. Okay, so we'll do those. All right. So I'm gonna take those. Okay. Y, G, Y. -2. There we go. Now we'll try it this way. G, Z. All right. Let's see. Here's another thing we can do. P, separate selection. There we go. G, Z. Okay. G, Y. G, Z. Some. Okay. G, Y. Okay, there we go. So that was a big, long, roundabout way of getting that all put back together. But there we go. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to go to here. Okay. Okay. I'm going to do Shift S, cursor to selected. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pivot point so that it's set to 3D cursor. Shift D, S, Y, -1. Okay. So there we go. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to do is this. Shift R, or Control R. There. Now I've got a control point here that I can go to where I can take these guys and I can take those now. And now I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to go back into solid for a moment. Okay, I'll just extrude this. There we go. So, okay. Now, let's see, this one right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a second face select here. Because if I do it that way, well, that's not exactly correct. So, let's see. I'm going to go to median point on this. Okay. And then this one, I'll add another face select mode here. Okay. I love that those are temporary because those are really, really useful. Okay, now I can take this and I can extrude this. Okay, there we go. Now we have that. And then I can take this edge right here. Okay, I go to edge select. Okay. There we go. And now we have that so that the roof edges are there where they need to be. Okay, I'll get rid of this edge. All right, and then I'm going to take these vertices and just merge them. So, go to there. I'll select that one. And I'll just put that to there. And rather than moving this up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say merge at first by pressing M at first. Same thing here. At first. There we go. Okay. So, now one thing I realized that I can do here as well is that I can get out of this and I can just delete this guy. Okay. So, we're going to do Shift D, S, Y, -1. Before we do that, I got to get the pivot point back to 3D cursor. Shift D, S, Y, -1. There we go. Okay. There we go. So, pretty cool, isn't it? And now, what we can also do is we can get rid of this edge loop. Okay, I'm going to merge by distance. Okay, we removed 11 vertices here. So I'm going to need to do the same thing on this one, right? So we'll remove this. Okay. And then remove any double vertices there. Okay. Now, once we get this all taken care of, what we're going to do is that we are going to join these two together. But first, I want to do just a little bit more here, right? So what I want to do is I want to take this right here, and I want to do cursor to selected. Okay, that didn't quite do what I wanted. Okay, there's where I wanted. Cursor to selected. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the 3D cursor. Okay, so we have that as our pivot point again. So we'll take care of these two by doing Shift D, S, X, -1. Okay, now let's look at the size of this here. And so it looks like we had it perfectly split down the middle. That's from what I can tell. So I think we should be good there. Okay. And I'm not going to worry about any intersecting geometry on this. I just kind of want to do the basics on this, right? Okay. So, next thing what I would like to do is I'd like to take it so that we have a gable that goes right here at the front. So, okay, so I'm talking about a gable now. So remember, like, we called this one a shed? When we have the two-sided, the very typical roof that you'll see on a lot of houses, these are called the gables, right? And so what I want to do is I want to have a gable that's going to go up front and doing the same thing, right? So I'm going to take this, Shift D, Y. Okay. Okay, and I want to have this flat side facing to this direction once I turn this. So, I'm going to go back to median point, rotate Z 90 negative on there. GX. Okay. GX -1. Now we have it so that the appropriate overhang is there where it needs to be. GY. Okay. Do this again. And this time I'm going to compensate for that overhang. GY -1. Okay, there we go. So we have a variety of methods that we can use to kind of cut this and do all that fun stuff, right? So then what I want to do here is that I actually want to do a loop cut right there. So I'll do Control R. Okay. So now I'm going to do a knife cut, I think. Okay. Let's see. That knife cut didn't work so well, did it? So okay. So we'll try something else here. All right. So I want to take this into local view for a moment. All right. So this doesn't have an exact like edge flow or anything, which gets to be kind of frustrating, you know. But that's okay. We can work with this. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take this, I'll take this back into the edit mode here. Alright, and take it back into the non-local. Okay. Alright, so we need to get these so they are together, so that they're in the same plane. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I think I can take all those. And then I want to do that face. Oh, yes. Okay. So that one's not quite working there, but you know what I can do? So I can go to normal on this. Okay. So that one I think will work there. Okay. So we'll do that. Okay. There we go. And now we'll do that. Okay. And now we're going to snap it so that it goes to here. Okay. There we go. All right. And this will be the last one here, I hope. Okay. We can also change this vertex to vertex snap. So we can try that, right? Which I think I like the edge a lot better. But anyway. Oh, I think I know what the problem is now. Okay. All right, now let's see. Nah, it's still not looking quite correct, but it looks better. Okay. Right there. Okay, now that's looking straight to me. Okay. So this is where you do kind of the quality control on it. Yep. Okay. So I feel satisfied with that now. So I'm going to get rid of these guys right here. Okay. Get rid of those vertices. Okay. Next one I'm going to do here is this. We'll take those. All right. There we go. Okay. That'll take care of those. Okay. There we go. And now, go back into global. Okay. And now, I'm going to take the cursor and put it right there. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to take this and I want to put face as my snap mode now. Okay. There we go. Same thing here. Okay. There we go. Okay. We do the same thing there. Okay, and I want to make sure that this is... Oh, hello. Okay. That one does look correct. Okay. And there we go. And there we go. Okay, so that gets us so that we get our join right here. Now, if you notice right here, we're doing a 412 pitch and a 412 pitch here. You get a perfect 45-degree angle on the top of the roof here, right? So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say Shift-D, SX, -1. Huh. Okay, that didn't quite work out there. Let's see. Make sure that our pivot point is the 3D cursor. I didn't do that. Shift-D, SX, -1. Okay. All right. So, now what I want to do is I want to take this and median point. Okay. There we go. And now we have this so it's matched up. So visually it's doing what it needs to, right? Okay. Anyway, so now, then we can also, add our colors to this. So I'll say, I want this to be roof. This one too. Okay. Yeah, I got to do the same thing there. I realize I can't do multi-select on that. But anyway. I can also do like a Control-L, I think, to do like the links on it and everything, but I don't want to do that. So, okay. So, these guys right here, I want to change it so that these match the house color. So, I'll go into Face Select. Okay. We'll do that. Assign those. Okay. Come on. Oh, yes. I remember. I did 2 of them. Okay. So, alright, we'll assign that. Okay, so, same thing there. Okay. Alright. Alright. So, you got the idea right here, Just getting these last ones. Okay, so now, I want to make sure we got all these here. Okay, so, last things then. Just make sure that that's all assigned. Assign. Alright, excellent. Okay, now that we have all those, we'll just assign those. And there we go. Sweet. So, now you have it. Kind of the basic way of like designing a roof. So this is a little bit more advanced. So this wasn't just a simple one where I was just like, okay, let's do this, 2 different directions. I actually showed you a little bit more of an advanced one, right? So, but this is how you do it. This is how you do roofs. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this tutorial. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so that you can get the regular updates on what I do here. And thank you so much for watching Nathan's 3D Factory. Have a great day, guys.